What is up, guys? This is Sean Flack 2.0. Welcome to Practical Pivot. With me in the studio is
Mike,
co-host Mike T's in the house. On today's episode, if you haven't tuned into the Facebook Live feed that just dropped less than a minute ago, we are going to be talking about what is that magical number that is going to make you dip your job. Um, before we get into that, of course, I always want to talk about the week. What happened, Mike? Anything special happened to you this week?
yeah, I guess, got a little more progress in a project that I'm working on, so that's pretty good. Got a couple of things signed and just got that rolling, so I'm
Okay.
excited about that. And yeah, other than that, like we say every week, or at least I do, the typical work stuff, man.
Oh yeah, for
Typical work
sure.
stuff.
Okay.
How about
You
you?
know what, man? With this particular segment, you know what? I got to writer's block, and um, so the project I'm working on, I'm writing it out, and I had this vision of what I wanted it to be, and as I'm writing it out, it is not turning out to be that vision, and it's gonna have to transform into something else. So kind of got sidetracked with that, and then of course the regular work stuff. But as far as like the side project goes, a little bit, uh, I don't know, want to say unmotivated with it, but it's definitely like I had this vision of what I wanted it to be. It is not that, but that's what we're here doing the show, kind of remind each other, hey, Mike, you making progress. I'm going through a little writer's block with it, and then maybe we could talk offline and you coach me through it, coach. You know.
Far from that, man. Far from that.
So yeah, that's basically going on. Nothing much. Again, two regular dudes doing our 9 to 5, and then just jumping in on Thursday nights and having discussions about things we could do to make a change.
Yes,
So let's
sir.
go right into the topic. So the first question, or the main question, and just a little background on this topic. Me and Mike had talked about this topic a very long time ago.
Yeah.
I want to say at least maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. 4 to 5 years
and
ago, I think. Yeah.
yeah, so there's a funny story behind it, but so we knew it was going to come up in the show because the show is about change. The show is about changing your perspective about things, and so yeah, so again, a topic we've talked about, and I'm glad we're able to bring it up on the show. So Mike, let's go ahead and take it away. What you got? What's your number? That's gonna make you leave. Make you change your situation.
All right. So basically, the question is, what amount of money or what's your number that it would take for you to just say, you know what, I'm cool. I'm gonna leave my job. I'm gonna go start a new journey and try to pursue some dreams, or kick back and relax if depending on what your number is and what your ultimate goal is.
Right.
So that's pretty much the question for today: is what is that number? So for me, it's almost twofold, right? So there's what would be my number to leave and maybe pursue something, and in the event it didn't work out, maybe I'll go back to work after a couple of years. And then there's a number that if I was to say, you know what, I'm done, I'm retiring, I'm kicking back, if I had this if I had this in the bank, I'm good
Right.
indefinitely.
Right.
So I guess the first number would be it's gonna be low. You gonna probably laugh, man. But like
Okay. Okay.
I say just one meal.
Wow.
One
1 mil
cash. I mean, after
cash.
yeah, that's
So
after
yeah, clear,
taxes and
clear, yeah, free and clear.
clear. Yeah.
A
Excuse
million.
me. Yeah, 1 million. I could here's why. Here's why.
Go ahead. Yes.
And this is just to leave, right? This is because that would be more than enough for me to feel comfortable to say, all right, I'm gonna give myself 2 years, 2 years to really get something going. And if I didn't get anything going after that time, then fine, I'll just step back into the work world and do what it is that I need to do. But with that amount of money, I'm like, all right, no house note, no mortgage, nothing like that.
Okay.
I'd be good. And then I'd be fine salary wise. I just pay myself. I put myself on a budget and I just pay myself and set some money aside for projects. And that'll be more than enough. I mean, more than
Okay.
enough.
A meal ticket.
Medical, everything. For a couple of years, right?
Right. Okay. All right.
So I'd be good. I'd be good
A
with that.
million. Just to pursue something different. Okay.
And I wouldn't even burn through half of that. That's the cold part. Like, so I feel like that, because sometimes we
In the
think
first
that,
2 years, we're talking about.
yeah, in the first 2 years. I mean, I'm
Okay.
not retiring off of that. But we too young for that.
Right,
But
right, right.
but no, if I'm just talking about what it would take for me to feel comfortable to really take a chance without like having that financial burden, having to worry about, oh, is this gonna get paid? Is that gonna get paid? Oh, we need medical, all those sorts of things that, everyday people that we always have to worry about.
Right.
So for me, that's my number, man, for just saying, you know what, I'm going out on a limb, I'm gonna take a chance and I'm gonna give myself 2, maybe even 3 years to figure it out.
Okay. A million. Okay. Do you want me to try to hit this one first, or let you go through both
Nah, go ahead, go
segments?
ahead. Tell. I'm
Okay.
curious. To say, I'll go double back to my
Okay.
second part.
All right. So funny enough, when we originally talked about this, the numbers were high, um, because at the time, I'm going to say this at the time when you had asked me, um, I think we just had got married or something like that because I was still, working my other class. And then, so I think I maybe just got married. And, so there's the expansion thing, there was that stability thing. Basically, if you go to work, you put in an hour, you're going to get paid for your hour that you signed up to sell. You know what I'm saying? Um, but not looking back, I'm gonna have to agree with your million. I'm gonna have to say if I had a million free and clear as well, just to change my situation, and maybe I'm not, maybe two. You know what? I'm gonna go with two.
Hmm.
2 million free and clear. It would change my situation. That's how I feel. And and the main thing that I look at that is basically with a million. I don't, I'm not trying to disclose how much I make, but let's just say a million could probably pay my own salary for a good 5 or 6 years. And I think like what you said, kind of piggybacking off of what you said on your last piece, was you pay yourself. So if I paid myself with a million, maybe 7 years, I would have to work 7 years, maybe 8 years to make $1 million. So, if we're talking about just changing your situation, a meal ticket would for sure. If I had a solid plan to leave, I would go with a million. But to give myself that buffer because I want stability, I would have to say 2 million, and then I would have to move out of state though. That'd be part of the plan.
See,
I'm
well, you'd
not
have that
staying.
freedom. You'd have that freedom.
Right, right. So, yeah, I would have to. I'd have to go 2 million would be enough for me to change my situation and exactly do what you said. Give myself a couple years, maybe 3 years, figure it out, and then of course moving out of state, the cost of living is going to be lower. So, you know, so yeah, I'm gonna have to go with 2 million. Based upon I want stability and and I guess and I'm gonna admit it here on this show, episode 6. I'm scared. I'm scared of like that potential of not making it, like making that jump and not succeeding, and then having to come back to what you just left. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. I have to ask this.
Go ahead.
So you're saying that you would be scared to have that money, to have those resources at your fingertips.
No,
And oh, okay.
no, not that. I just so I love stability. So sorry to cut you off, but I would have to say 2 million because maybe I'm scared of my potential, or like I know if I put my mind to it and work on my other side projects, they'll be successful. They will be, but I want a net, and that's why and then of course with the obligations of having a family, I can't just free fly and 6 months from now go sleep in a car. If I had to, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Maybe I'm explaining it wrong.
I think I think I understand what you're saying. I'm a little confused as if it's the money and losing it and having to go back. Is that what you're afraid of? Or is it that you are nervous to leave the quote unquote stability situation in the first place?
That second one. I'm nervous to leave the stability in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Okay.
think, and if we went back and brought up to the audience our last conversation, or when we originally talked about it, yeah, I want that stability. I want, like I said, if I put in an hour, I want to get paid for that hour. Like salespeople out there, or content creators or whatever, you're gonna put in 16 hours of work and not get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And and it's a mentality thing. If I put 16 hours into, and this is something you told me, if I put as many hours a day toward my goal versus that 8 hours a day toward somebody else's goal, I'll be successful. But
Right.
I guess I haven't done that yet. And I still have a problem changing my mentality of being able to do that. And that's why I'd want a bigger net.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
I
that's
mean, here's the thing though, like you can't I guess for me, I'm not really one to be too scared of taking a chance. Um, it's I'm not good at executing, right? And I think in the very first episode, I was kind of like, you know what, I'm a punk or I'm a sucker just because I didn't even finish what it is that I was trying to do, right? Like I would
right.
just like let little things, um, I don't know, discourage me. I would try to do something and I'll see something and I'll get discouraged and I'll be like, oh, maybe I should just do this or maybe I should try doing this instead, and I would never really see things through. But as far as having the time and some the means to just say, you know what, I'm gonna go hard at it. I don't have to worry about work or this and that. Like I would love that opportunity. I would love to have that opportunity. And I'm okay with walking away from a job especially if I have enough money to hold me over. Because at the end of the day, I'm always thinking about like, man, you know what, I don't really look at the job as stability to begin with. So it's
Okay.
not like I feel like I'm losing a safety net, I guess you could say. It is something that's just comfortable to me
Right.
in the sense that I've been going there. It's been providing me with a check. So I've been able to do things. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm gonna do whatever it takes to provide, right? So whether that be working there or getting 3 jobs or 2 jobs to make up for that income if I lose it, then it is what it is. I'll just do it. So I would take the chance, man. If you give me a million or in your case two and say, you know what, here's 2 million, but you have to detach, you have to leave
Right.
this and go pursue what it is you want. And I think it's back to the mentality of it because we get so
It
caught up,
is.
kind of like the wage slave, it's kind of the
Right. It
slave
is.
sort of
And
thing.
right. It
You need
is.
us. You can't do this. You need us, Sean. You need
Right.
us.
Right. And
you
that's
know.
and I have to admit, I still have that, and I still have that. If it, and I personally don't need a lot, but my family requires stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I could, 'cause I could go sleep in a car, and I could take that chance if it was just me. But I guess my high sense of like, I don't want to call it like duty or obligation or nothing, because I mean, it's just, I got a family,
Hmm.
and like I said, I slept and I lived out of cars before, not a big deal. I mean, but at the same time, I'm stuck there because I haven't done a project, an independent project successfully yet. I haven't made that first step, or I haven't gotten that first taste of success to see if it's something that I can do. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Like I haven't got, you know, not giving out too much, but in training, they say you just keep doing it over and over. And at first it's going to be hard, but once you do your first successful, procedure thing, the next time you do it, it's not as hard anymore.
Hmm.
I haven't successfully done something like this on a consistent basis. And that's, for me, this is like breaking out and having these conversations every week is breaking me away from it, like especially like this particular topic, because I look back at myself when you first asked me and I was like, dude, you're crazy. I need at least 40 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're like, oh, dude, that's crazy, you know. And now I could see how much my mentality has grown to say, I could do it for two. I could do it for two because I've been somewhere else where two goes a really long way. And, you know, doing this and doing the recordings every week, it's gotten easier and easier and easier to set up. So, you know, it's just like I have not, you know, successfully completed an independent project yet. And I have a lot of ideas, I have a lot of things written down, but I'm still stuck in that. Can you do it, or are you like faking it to do it? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I take from our show and then from my podcast show. Something I'm consistently doing, and I'm showing and proving to myself, as long as I stick at it, it's going to get easier and easier and easier, and then off to the races. So I'm still stuck mentally when it comes to that stuff, and that's what I like, bouncing stuff off of you, because you're like, well, nah, dude, think about it like this or think about it like that. So, anyway.
You know what's interesting to me though, because you said something about like putting in 8 or 12 or 16 hours and not getting a check, like putting it in there and not necessarily getting paid for it. Right. But I mean, with most things, you're gonna have to put in time and effort, and it might be a long time before you see the fruits of your labor. I mean, you know what I'm built like. I'm built like a walking noodle, right? I'm like tall and tall and skinny, you know, and
Okay.
I mean, I done sat here, you know, be like, "Ooh, I'm about to hammer out like, you know, X amount of push-ups or whatever." I'm not trying to go look in the mirror and be like, "Man, what happened?" You know, like it's like it's just, you know, it is what it is, man. It's like it takes time. It takes, like you said, you got to be consistent, right? You got to be consistent, and you gotta want it. And like we mentioned before, your why does have to be that strong. You have to envision what it is that you want, and you have to really see it and pursue that. And if not, I mean, it's likely not gonna happen. And that goes for both of us. That's why I haven't really succeeded, because I haven't put in the time and the energy and the consistency to make it happen. And that's what I'm trying to change this year. That's one of the reasons we're doing this, is just to motivate each other and just to make it happen. So, I mean, I don't want to get too far off the topic, but at the end of the day, I think it kind of comes back around to just believing in yourself. And I feel like you give me $1 million and 2 years, if I can't make nothing happen with that, then I don't deserve nothing else. You know what I mean? Like this, I need to just go ahead, accept the fact that I'm gonna be doing this for the rest of my life, because that was my opportunity.
Right. Yeah, a meal ticket. You know, I thought that was pretty low. I thought you would have went a little bit higher than that, but all right. What about? So we talked about that. What about what would make you? What's the number that would make you retire?
7.
7.
7.
Yeah. I could see 7.
Well, I say retire in the way of like I confident that I would never work for anybody ever again in my life. Like I just wouldn't. I mean, you know, life happens, something could happen, you know, but I don't see where I would ever need to work for somebody ever again in my life with that amount of money.
7 mil. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just, you know, with investments, you know, properties, things like that. Like, I feel like I'd be good indefinitely.
Right. Okay.
How about you?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. This might, I would say 5. I would say 5. And again, this is all based upon, you know, again, you said it, and years ago, you know, $1 million to take you 8 years, you know, 9 years to make, you know. So okay, so $1 million, so 9 years times that by that's what 45 years or something like that. You know what I'm saying, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like a salary.
And that's after tax too, you know?
Right.
That's what's lovely.
Excuse me. So so yeah, I'm gonna have to say 5, really. And because I do have a major plan if I had large sums of money, and it would be, I guess the idea of what I would do with that money is to have it make money. So it was like a perpetuating money making machine. So it would just generate its own money.
Mm-hmm.
And like through property investments, things like that. And my main thing was property. Property. As long as you have property, you're gonna be somewhere somehow. Especially if it's free and clear. But I'd have to say 5. I would retire on 5 because I don't require our family doesn't require a lavish lifestyle at all by any means. And I think, I don't know what it means to be stupid rich. And some, oh yeah, why do you need to buy this yacht? I mean, I would get to the point, and I think I'm at the point now, and I think I talked about it a couple of episodes ago, where I don't think we need to purchase anything more. Like, we don't need to purchase, the next thing is the house. Like, once we purchase the house, I think we have everything we would want. I mean, eventually maybe upgrade some of the items that we have now, but at the same time, we don't need to buy anything more.
Right.
So I think eventually I would get there. Like with 5 million, it would be free and clear with everything, the house and the little toys and stuff like that. And then at that point, it'd be trying to, work with a group of people and seeing what we could do about making this money make its own money and potentially give back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think I would need that much money to, it's not like I would, be buying $100,000 yachts or whatever it is. Like, so yeah, I'd have to say 5. I'm gonna go with 5, free and clear. Give me 5 million. So I just hit the lotto once and, I'm disappearing.
I hear that. I hear that. I think I told you this before. Like, I'm like addicted to Shark Tank, right? The
right.
TV show or whatever. And one of the things on there that they talk about, and I don't know who coined the phrase or whatever. So, but it's like the power of broke, right? Because some of the entrepreneurs that come on there, they'll be having, like money. They have like a lot of money. So they feel like, they can afford to make mistakes, right? Excuse me. Whereas a lot of the people who come on there with nothing, I mean, like just broke, man. It's like you don't have that luxury to make those mistakes. You can't make a $30,000 or $50,000 mistake, So you're real calculated about the steps you take, the decisions you make, and I think it's the same way when we were just talking about the money. We could have a lot more. And that would be great. But even if you don't have that much, if you're still passionate about what you're doing and this is something that you want to do, like you'll figure out a way to make it work. You'll just have to be more calculated and really put a plan together and put that plan in motion and not deviate too much to where you are blowing the money. And then next thing you know, that 1 or that 2 or that 5 is down 30% and 50%, So I think no matter what it is, whatever that number is, as long as you put a plan together, execute it, and just be smart about it, it'll work, man. It'll work.
Okay, sounds good. And I'd have to say the takeaway from this episode would definitely be the planning piece. Like, if you were a bum before and you didn't know how to take care of your little, $50,000, $60,000 job a year, if you get into a large sum of money, you ain't just automatically a financial advisor. You a bum. You still a bum. So build that team. Surround yourself with like-minded people. And otherwise, you hear that lotto made me broke or bankruptcy after lottery winnings or whatever. So I hope the folks that are listening or watching kind of take that away from both of us, how we both came up with some type of plan or had some type of vision of what to do with it. And again, right now it's fictional. I mean, it's a hypothetical question, but it's always something to think about, because what if you could walk away? What would you do? And I'd have to say this one kind of hits hard with me, because it's like, well, there are people that work well into their 60s and 70s because they've been working for so long and that's all they really know. And they have the money to retire, but they don't, because they don't have anything else, because they really didn't think beyond what they're doing right now. And having these types of discussions, for me anyway, sparks that you're not going to be working forever, or you shouldn't want to be working forever. So what would you do if you could walk away? Or in some cases, what would you do if you had to walk away?
Mm-hmm.
So, Mike, got any final thoughts on the topic?
Yeah, I'd say for me is about just knowing that no matter what you make a year, I mean, if you make, 15,000, 20,000, 200,000, or what amount of money that you come into, you should always be thinking about, if I was in this situation, or if I start making this money, what would I do? What would my plan of action be? And that's just sort of something that, again, we were just talking about, and it's something that we're trying to do ourselves, is just really start thinking and putting ourselves in places mentally that we can come up with a plan, and we can try to figure out what it is that we'll do once we are in these positions. Because I don't even think it's about if, it's more about when. And we
Right.
just gotta figure out a way to make that happen. That's all. So yeah, just always be thinking. Always be thinking about what you might do or what you will do when you get into that situation.
All right. Well, that's about it for today's show. Um, as always, got to do our shameless plug. If you like this topic, this content, again, this is episode 6. What's the dollar amount you'd leave to leave your situation? And of course, what dollar amount would you leave to fully retire? If you like this content and you want to see more of it, or you want to interact with us, because again, two regular dudes, we're not, financial advisors or anything like that, but we do have dreams. You can hit us up on Twitter at Practical Pivot. You could obviously, this is a YouTube show, so head over to YouTube, look up Practical Pivot. You could also go to Facebook. If you're on Facebook, there is a Practical Pivot group. Currently, it's open. Anybody could sign in and chat if you want to talk to us about the topic today or any of the other topics. You could head there. And to make everything easier, you could head over to SeanFlack.com, where you have a link to this show, my other project, the Dad's Life podcast, and of course my personal YouTube Sean Flack 2.0 page is there as well. So you can head over there and get in contact with us that way. And that's basically it. So this is Sean Flack 2.0 and Mike T signing off, episode 6. Until the next episode, be cool, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.
Peace.